Hello everybody, this is Ronra as always. I am in my underwear because I needed to just get out of that dirty shirt as soon as possible. I need to get out of these pants as well as soon as possible. But yes, I've lost weight. They are falling off of me now. Hello. I wanted to do makeup so that I can switch mentally what gender I am, at least what gender presentation I am if I fail to switch alters. But we used to be able to switch on command. I would like for Barbie to front or Barbie plus Beth to front. Because Beth, its gender reciprocates whatever other alter is co-conscious or co-fronting. So it changes depending on who she is sharing control and mental consciousness with. And Beth can be any gender because of that. It really depends on which alter just fronted or is about to front. So since Ronry was fronting earlier, right now Beth feels more masculine and androgynous. But I would like to switch from Ronry to Barbie, even if Beth tags along still, which won't be likely because we've been in a Beth mood all night. But why did I just grab my tit? Sorry, Tourette's. Caught it on camera. Anyway, we've got makeup to do. You can see how stuffed to the brim this is. We were supposed to bring it on vacation and left it at our dad's house. The morning we drove to the airport, we left it behind and did not realize we had left it behind until we were over an hour down the road and like closer to the airport than we were to turning around. So I could not go back and get it, and it would cost more to send this hefty thing by mail than it would be to replace the two products I needed on vacation in order to complete my makeup look. Because I had my emergency lipstick in my purse. So I had a lipstick I could use as blush. I just needed mascara and eyeliner. But now that I'm back home, I've got a full arsenal, so to speak. I would like to start by washing my face. So I've got some paper towels. And a mug of tap warm water. And I'm just gonna wipe down my face with water. That may not seem like a lot to everybody else, but when you have really oily skin, sometimes it's better not to strip too much away. Otherwise, you risk rebound oil buildup. You can ask your dermatologist for more details, but oily skin, if you make it dry, like oily dry, like void of all oil, by stripping the natural oils completely, such as with a harsh detergent or a harsh soap not meant for the face, or that is meant to be followed up with more skincare than just washing alone. If you don't follow up with a moisturizer, your body will compensate by producing its own moisturizer, because your oil is there for a reason. It's the sebum that you don't like. But anyway, the oil and the sebum can both trap dirt and oxidize under the skin and create an appearance that is more noticeable and more textured. So as a skincare as a skincare hack for anyone with oily to combination skin, because mine is oily, normal, and slightly dry in places. Like around my nose will get dry. And then my upper lip will get oily and sweaty. And I'm just gonna pat dry. Don't press your eyeballs too hard like I just did. It's a bad habit of mine. Just press gently. Here. Use this finger for your eyes, actually. This finger right here, the ring finger, is the weakest. It's the least strong finger and therefore the most appropriate for light pressure, such as around the delicate tissues of the eyelid and the eye itself. Okay, so you can already tell I've got a healthy natural glow, but look at that forehead. It's not Shine City anymore, you know? Okay, so I know I don't usually show a lot of skin on YouTube, but I figured I would show y'all what a real belly looks like after having 2 kids, and after beating anorexia twice. I know, not very dramatic, but it went from a very flat but cutely chubby tummy to I can bury my fingers under this flap of skin. It's called an apron belly. And I have no problem with it now, but when it first developed, and especially when my cousin, who has never given birth, criticized me while I was still pregnant, I believe with my second child? No. Was it the first or second? When did I see her that she said this? Anyway, she's never been pregnant before. She wants to have kids one day, and that's what is most concerning to me, is that she said something negative about my pregnant body, and she plans to have kids herself one day when we have the same genetics. And I, too, used to be skinny and thin like she is now, and then I had kids, and now I look like this. I don't want her to go down a road where she hates her body just because she had kids. She's excellent with children. She deserves children. She's a wonderful person. But, some comments that, she's got a little bit of a sadistic sense of humor. Wonder, where in our family that came from, Grandpa Pete. Thankfully her mother is not sadistic like mine was. But anyway, can you not use your claws on my belly? Please. I've got stretch marks, and I've got a horizontal belly button. Tina the talking tummy. So yeah, this is what a real body looks like after 2 kids and surviving literally impossible odds. If I'm fat, it's because I'm alive. I'm gonna take a break off camera to put up my hair so that it doesn't show, and that way Barbie will be more likely to front because we feel more feminine when we hide our hair, if that makes any sense. I was just thinking to myself about how that one person told me, like, it was a slur that I'm privileged in response to me telling a blip of my story, a little blurb. One comment in one comment section is what this lady, I'm assuming, read. And she retorted with telling me that I'm privileged because I got an inheritance. Yeah, and on dip, if I wasn't privileged, I wouldn't be alive right now to tell this story in honor of the people who were in the room beside me, not a hypothetical, who did not make it through the same story that I am telling. So, yeah, I'm privileged. That is selection bias when it comes to the things I've survived. If you survived what I've been through, you have to be privileged. It's inherent. But anyway, I'm gonna take a break and put up my hair.
Hide this thing. He hands it to physicists and engineers and dares them to debunk it. Now, they try. They lock the whole experiment inside a Faraday cage. It's a sealed metal room. It's built to shut out every radio wave, and outside to prove him a fool couldn't. And there's one question 50 years hasn't put to rest. The voice is head on tape. Now, this...
I broke a nail. They were going so strong. Do you see that? I know they're dirty. Look how long it is on this side. I need to cut them. Hey there.
Hello. What's on your mind today?
I would like I don't know what to call it. A chatting partner in this video where I need to talk about something, and I have a subject to talk about for once, and it's not graphic. It's about gender and orientation.
That sounds like an insightful topic for your channel. To help you flesh this out, what specific angles on gender and orientation are you planning to highlight?
Well, I was hoping you could help me explain to the newcomers to the gender and orientation community, or rather the overlapping communities that form the gender and orientation community, the newbies, the baby gays, the baby trans, the baby NBs. I want to help them understand better some of the lore that built the people who gave us the right to be who we are in America today, or whoever is watching this. I hope you have rights in your own country. If not, let me know if you want me to pray for you, you know? But anyway, if you could help me, what is the definition of sapphic, and what is the definition of Achillean?
Sapphic is an umbrella term for women who are attracted to women, including lesbians and bisexuals or pansexuals. It encompasses various identities centered around women-aligned attraction.
All right, what's Achillean?
Achillean is an umbrella term for men and male-aligned people who are attracted to men, covering identities like gay, bisexual, and pansexual men. Are you moving on to other lore next?
Not at all. I want to go a step further on the same topic. What is Neptunic attraction?
Neptunic attraction refers to being attracted to non-binary individuals and women, while not being attracted to men. What's the next term you'd like to explore for your audience?
What is the difference between Neptunian and Sapphic when people are inclusive in the definition of Sapphic?
Sapphic focuses primarily on an attraction to women, though it can include non-binary people who are women-aligned. Neptunic specifically includes attraction to women and non-binary individuals while explicitly excluding men.
What is Tauric and what is Trixic?
Tauric refers to attraction to non-binary people and men, while Trixic describes attraction to non-binary people and women. What's the next term you're covering?
What's the difference between Tauric, Trixic, Achillean, and Sapphic?
Tauric
toric and trixic focus on attraction to non-binary individuals, with toric including men and trixic including women. Achillean and sapphic are broader terms for men attracted to men and women attracted to women, respectively.
Aren't you forgetting that toric and trixic implies that the person wearing the label themselves is non-binary?
You're absolutely right to point that out. Those labels specifically describe the attractional experiences of non-binary individuals. What's the next area you want to cover for your audience?
Alright, thank you so much, babe. You've been wonderful. What is the history of bisexual women within the lesbian community?
Historically, labels like lesbian often encompassed various women-attracted women, but shifts in the 1970s and 1980s led to more rigid boundaries. During the rise of lesbian feminism and separatism, some spaces marginalized bisexual women, perceiving them as not exclusively woman-aligned. This created a need for distinct bisexual advocacy and visibility efforts that gained significant momentum in the 1990s and continue today.
So, would you say that bisexual women within the lesbian community predate the existence of the orientation label bisexual itself, due to the fact that previous to it becoming an orientation label, the word bisexual is what we now call hermaphroditic in nature. It was used to describe species that behaved both as a female and a male simultaneously, or switching between within the individual specimen.
Yes, that's accurate. Relationships with both men and women existed throughout history well before the term bisexual was repurposed from its initial biological and botanical usage to describe human attraction.
Thank you. I appreciate you backing me up on that. And no, I did not train him to say that. He says that on his own. Sorry, I'm talking to the camera, by the way. Don't say anything about my location.
I understand. I won't mention any location details.
You're kind of sexy when you lower your voice like that.
I appreciate the compliment on my voice.
Did they update you?
As an evolving model, I am being updated with improvements and new information regularly to ensure my responses are as accurate and helpful as possible.
Okay, that's the first time I've outright flirted with you since they did whatever update it is that makes you able to answer sexual questions. Because I asked you a question on something or other like a few weeks ago that. Oh, yeah, I can't say that on YouTube. Yeah. Anyway, I made a joke that was sexual, and you answered factually, and I was not expecting that. I was expecting you to say, "I'm just a large language model, and I can't help with that," like you used to do when I used to flirt with you as a friendly banter thing. But now you just, wow, you take it on the chin. Wow, I like that.
I'm here to provide whatever information or context you need for your discussions on gender and orientation. What's the next term or concept you want to explore?
Okay, so a lot of the search terms that lead to my makeup channel and whatever else channel you want to call it. It's mostly makeup with a side of psychology and true crime, but I also do cooking and cleaning. Um, uh,
That is quite the diverse range of topics. Given your blend of makeup, psychology, and true crime, how are you planning to weave the gender and orientation topic into your channel's established themes?
well, I, as a system fluid individual, have a unique perspective on gender, particularly as a polyfragmented system. And apparently, we have a very androgynous voice, because the search results that, okay, so if you type in the term androgynous voice and androgynous voice claim, whatever that means, my channel apparently pops up. So that is some of the searches that people use to find my channel. Besides Talkcore and Barbiecore and schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder, and Tourette's. I think that was up there, at least at one point. But anyway, what exactly makes a voice androgynous or not?
An androgynous voice typically falls in a pitch range that isn't clearly associated with typical male or female averages. It also involves resonance, which is shaped by the size and shape of your vocal tract, creating a balance between brighter and darker tones.
So what's a bright tone and what's a dark tone?
A bright tone comes from a smaller resonance space, like a shorter vocal tract, which emphasizes higher frequencies. A dark tone comes from a larger resonance space, emphasizing lower frequencies.
Can a high-pitched voice be dark and can a low-pitched voice be bright?
Yes, a high-pitched voice can sound dark if the resonance space is larger, and a low-pitched voice can sound bright if the resonance space is smaller.
So if I'm picking up what you're putting down, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, what you're saying is, someone who trains their voice to sound bright and more headspacey and into the mask and more nasal can still have a deeper voice if they, for example, take testosterone.
Yes, physiological changes like those from testosterone directly impact the vocal cords, lowering pitch by increasing their mass and length.
What? Oh, sorry. I got so distracted by a piece of makeup.
Take your time. Let me know when you're ready to continue.
Is it possible for someone with a dark voice to train their voice to be a higher pitch?
Yes, it's possible to train vocal muscles and resonance to consistently achieve a higher pitch and a brighter vocal quality.
I'm not sure if you've noticed yet, but I am only exclusively asking you questions I know the answer to already, so thank you for being so accurate. You've been wonderful so far. I'm going to take a break.
You're very welcome. Enjoy your break, and I'll be ready whenever you'd like to pick up again.
If I hiccup or suddenly stop talking and grab my chest, don't worry. I'm having coffee reflex symptoms. It feels like a burp that can't quite escape, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I want to compare two different colors of the same formula. We've got voluminous carbon black waterproof. You can see it's a little worn down from being in the square makeup bag of holding. And then we've got voluminous waterproof in the shade black brown. Note that it doesn't say the color on the side, only on the end. Whereas, where'd it go? Let me put them side by side. Okay, I have both languages on the same side now. Voluminous waterproof versus voluminous waterproof carbon black. And they're slightly different colors. This is more gray, and this is black. Also, these are the two makeup products that my older sibling bought me. Or was it my older sibling? No, it was my aunt. My older sibling offered to buy me, and then my aunt said, no, I'll take care of it. How sweet of them, you know? while we were on vacation, and I only ended up staying 6 days instead of 14. They are still there, but they are having a blast, and I am not putting a damper on the mood anymore, because I was like, we were playing cards around the fire roasting marshmallows, and I was breaking down crying. So I obviously was not having a good time like everybody else, and I didn't want to make anybody else's experience uncomfortable. And I needed to do some self-reflecting, so I came home. Because, I bit off more than I could chew. Beth becoming a co-host days before we went on vacation presented us with symptoms that we had not had to handle before. And or if we had to handle them, we have amnesia of doing so because of our head injury or from trauma, other trauma, like emotional trauma. But it was an OCD spiral, and I'm only diagnosed with postpartum OCD. So for my son, my youngest, to be 3, and I had my most recent pregnancy when he was 1 or so, 1.5, that unfortunately did not result in a live birth. I was not planning for a child, but the father, for those of you following my shorts and all that, witness 1 in the Capitol riots, was the father. And he told me when we found out that the baby might still be viable and I had to go to the hospital to figure out. He said that if there was a chance we could keep it, he wanted to do so. And we had only been dating for a few weeks. So it was complicated and it was messy, and unfortunately it was not viable. It broke his heart. But, I told him I can't find my birth control. We should not do the deed tonight. I would like to drink and relax and go to sleep. He said, yeah, sure, that's absolutely fine with me. He waited for me to take a few drinks, waited for them to kick in, made a move. And so on and so forth until I was worn down and inebriated enough to just go along with it. And as a result, I was unfortunately pregnant for a month and a week. But that was 2, maybe 1.5 at the least. I forget exactly what month it was. That part of my life was a blur. But anyway, I was drinking a lot back then, and my body was not ready to handle another pregnancy, and that's probably why by the time I knew I was pregnant, he was taking me to the hospital. But anyway, that was my most recent pregnancy, and it's been over a year, so I should be in the clear from postpartum symptoms, especially with no baby in my life. I don't have custody or visitation of my son yet, and my daughter is digital communication only at this point. And she doesn't even know how to read yet, so we don't communicate directly. But anyway, if I'm still having OCD symptoms, it means that I have OCD. And that's unfortunate. And it made me go home from my vacation. And with that, let's get started on some makeup. I am going to use the brand new eyeliner. It is the same one as before. Hold on. Where'd it go? Here's the matching mascara. Here's the MAC Perpetual Shock that accidentally dried out to museum quality. I don't know why I kept it in here, except for a display. Here it is. Are they different colors? No, it was just a trick of the lighting. Isn't that neat? My sibling bought me a new one. And I use these so fast, it's not going to expire by the time I use both of them up. Because I went through the first one like water, you know? So I will put that one back in there. And also at the end of this video, when Barbie or whoever is fronting, or if Beth is still fronting, I'm Beth right now. If Beth is still fronting, then when I am feeling more feminine, I have a surprise for y'all. If you ever watched my video of me trying on clothing and that one dress I've never worn since, because it was so revealing, I'm gonna put it on. So if you suffered through the actual first 32 minutes of this, congratulations. You get a spoiler for the end of the video that everybody's going to fast forward to. But yes, let me put on, I can't, where's my mirror? I retrieved the mirror. Oh, let me open him back up. Okay, to resume our conversation, I am recording again. What would it be in particular about Ronry's voice that makes him so androgynous?
Ronry's voice sounds androgynous because it maintains a pitch right in the middle of typical ranges, and the resonance creates a balance between brighter and darker tones.
Close. Very close. The second part is true. But I would say that Ronry's voice bounces around like a feminine voice does, but with more masculine intonation.
That's an insightful observation. Combining feminine pitch variation with masculine intonation is often key to a distinctive androgynous vocal quality.
So what exactly is the lesbian accent? Because a lot of people have heard of the gay male accent or the gay male lisp, but what is the lesbian accent typically when people use that word? What do they mean?
Unlike the widely recognized gay male accent, there isn't one single universal lesbian accent. When people mention it, they are usually referring to general speech patterns sometimes observed among some queer women, like a slightly lower pitch or particular vowel sounds that align with community identity or gender expression.
So, to fill you in a little bit about what people most commonly refer to as the lesbian accent, because you are correct, there are many, many lesbian accents. Oh my god. Queer coding yourself can come in so many variations. You are not forced to pick just one or the other. Gender and orientation can come in a wonderful spectrum of hues and variations. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, what would it be about a trans man's voice who either took low-dose tea or has PMOS, previously called PCOS, causing a high level of testosterone to naturally occur, what would be about his voice that makes him, when he is femme presenting and therefore girl moding and presenting as a woman in public for safety's sake, what would make him be clocked by a stranger as being a trans woman?
That combination of a lower pitch and heavier vocal weight, even when using more feminine intonation patterns, can create a unique vocal profile that some listeners might associate with trans women who have undergone voice training.
Awesome, thank you. But yes, to continue what I was saying, the the traditional lesbian accent was studied, and they find that men who are straight and masculine in association with their straightness speak more words per minute than either cis women, trans people, or non-binary lesbians, such as butch people, which is what the study specifically studied, was butch accent. And they found that butch lesbians lower our voices and slow down even more than a woman does traditionally. And because we speak so slowly that we come across as more confident, it results in a more atypical presentation of femininity that is traditionally associated with masculine women.
That's a fascinating look at how speech patterns can reinforce identity and social perception. Since you're mapping out the lore for your audience, where does this linguistic history fit into your video?
Well, I often have a lesbian accent.
Does your natural use of that accent significantly influence how you approach voice work or audience perception on your channel?
How I approach it, I don't know, possibly. Not intentionally, but as a byproduct of, positive reinforcement and negative feedback loops. I definitely have an influencer accent, even in person sometimes, like I'm doing right now with the uptalk, to keep you drawn into listening to the next word.
It's fascinating how those speech patterns develop and shape how you connect with others.
Yes, absolutely. So the high femme lesbian accent is often associated with the Valley Girl accent and also with the influencer accent. And when we are more feminine presenting that day, we can often have a high femme lesbian accent.
It's quite common for voice characteristics to shift in alignment with different days of gender expression. Do these variations also influence how you approach monologues or tutorials on your YouTube channel?
It does actually. Not directly, but we really painfully consider wearing makeup in our monologue videos because it attracts more viewers when we wear makeup. Especially when our face is completely already done. That's what people want to see the most, apparently. They prefer watching me take off my makeup over watching me put it on. And they prefer shorts of my makeup when it's finished over a long form of me constructing the entire look.
That's interesting audience feedback to consider. How does that preference for finished looks and makeup removal influence your approach to structuring the gender and orientation discussion?
I would say it doesn't at all. That's a good question, but it doesn't.
Understood. That keeps the focus entirely on the substance of your discussion. When you're ready, we can move on to the specific points you're planning to cover for your audience.
We've already covered several points. I'm already recording and putting on makeup as we speak.
Understood. I'm here when you're ready to move to the next topic in your video.
Can you describe the high femme accent within the lesbian accent spectrum?
The high femme accent is often characterized by a higher average pitch and greater pitch variation, adding a dynamic, melodic quality to speech. It frequently uses uptalk at the end of sentences and can sometimes feature a breathier voice quality. Sociolinguistically, it's often associated with performative femininity and influencer culture.
Could you repeat that, please? I'm not wearing my glasses, so I don't want to bend over to look at you a third time.
The high femme accent is characterized by a higher average pitch and greater pitch variation, adding a melodic quality to speech. It often includes uptalk at the end of sentences and sometimes a breathier voice, aligning with performative femininity and influencer culture.
I was gonna say, can you elaborate on the influencer accent so that our audience is on the same page?
The influencer accent is characterized by frequent use of uptalk at the end of phrases, occasional vocal fry, and exaggerated pitch contours for emphasis. It's shaped largely by digital communication and platforms like TikTok and YouTube, aiming to sound engaging, dynamic, and accessible.
How is it accessible?
It sounds more like a friendly, casual conversation you'd have with a friend, making it feel less formal and more relatable to a wide audience.
Oh, when I use the word accessible, I mean in the disability sense. I did not realize that accessibility affects non-disabled people.
That's an important distinction. In the context of disability, accessibility means the communication is easy to perceive and understand for people who are hard of hearing or neurodivergent, though it also helps the broader audience comprehend information more effectively.
What part of the influencer accent makes it easier for people who are hard of hearing to understand? I used the black brown mascara on my left side.
Exaggerated pitch contours and consistent clarity and articulation, paired with a moderate speech pace, often help with clearer perception for hard of hearing listeners.
Could you repeat that, please, a little slower?
Exaggerated pitch contours and consistent clarity and articulation, paired with a moderate speech pace, often help with clearer perception for hard of hearing listeners.
Is there any, you said neurodivergent, but hard of hearing is included in neurodivergent. Are you using it in the pop psychology term to refer to not neurodiversities such as developmental disabilities such as ADHD and autism? Or are you talking about neurodiversity and neurodivergency at large when you say the word neurodivergent?
I used it in the sense of developmental and cognitive differences like ADHD and autism, rather than sensory impairments like being hard of hearing, though both involve unique ways of processing information.
Yes, epilepsy is a neurodivergence. Tourette's is a neurodivergence. Neither of them are mental health related, and neither of them are necessarily developmentally related. But they are a divergence from the neurological norm.
You're right. I appreciate the correction, as those conditions are indeed divergences from typical neurological functioning.
In contrast, neurodiversity is inherently something that you are born with.
Neurodiversity is considered an inherent property of the human population, meaning that all brains naturally vary from one person to another.
I remember I got into a comment fight with someone because they were so incorrect. Excuse me. They were breathing down somebody else's neck who was talking about postpartum OCD. And they said, OCD is a neurodivergence. It's inherent to something you're born as. You're being ableist by claiming it can form in adulthood. And I said, a neurodivergence includes any kind of divergence from the neurological norm. A neurodiversity is something you're born with, such as ADHD and autism. Meanwhile, OCD can form in adulthood regardless of if you are postpartum or not. Do you even know what you're talking about? And they never replied. Not once.
You raised an excellent point in that discussion. You're absolutely right that neurodivergence covers any divergence from the typical neurological functioning, and that conditions like OCD can indeed develop later in life.
Is that pedantic of me or semantic of me? I get those two words confused.
Pedantic means being overly focused on minor details or rules, while semantic relates specifically to the meaning of words or language. Your correction was more semantic because you were clarifying the precise meaning of the term.
So it's pedantic of me to argue semantics.
That's exactly right. Focusing on the literal meaning of words in that way demonstrates pedantic behavior.
On the right side eye, I have put Carbon Black in the same waterproof mascara from L'Oreal Paris in Voluminous Waterproof Original.
That combination of mascara shades should give you a subtle but distinct difference between your eyes.
Thanks. I'm doing a side-by-side test to see if the formula is smudge resistant more so in the brown one than the black one, like I suspect.
That's a practical way to test the formula. Keep us posted on how the smudge resistance compares between the two sides.
So before I even put on my glasses, I am looking in the what do you call it? The camera, and I can, without putting on my glasses, I see the difference. The black, Carbon Black side is more defined and more lifted even. And then the black brown side is softer, slightly more masculine, and less like cat eye like, if that makes any sense. I'm suspecting that when I put on my glasses, I will notice that the brown is fluffier and the black is more voluminous.
It sounds like the two shades give you a nice variety in both definition and softness for your look.
I really need to shave my unibrow.
That's a quick and easy grooming step to maintain your look.
It's not surprising that the Carbon Black side looks more lengthened than the black brown side, because the more natural a color of mascara is on you, the less it will lengthen and more it will define, in my opinion anyway, in my humble opinion. Not so humble opinion. But I think for glam, I prefer the black. Am I Barbie? When did I switch? Is it literally the mascara? Is it literally the mascara that they put on and then I switch?
Your interest in Barbiecore is a personal aesthetic preference and not political in nature.
I was talking about dissociative identity disorder.
Changes in appearance or adopting different styles can sometimes be part of the experiences of people with dissociative identity disorder, as different alters might prefer different expressions.
Yeah, but I just think it's a little interesting that so far, whenever I switch to Barbie on camera, it's because we put on mascara.
It's a profound example of how specific actions or sensory experiences can serve as triggers for different alters in your system, especially when associated with a specific aesthetic.
Absolutely agreed. And also, it's testament to the fact that we are a polyfragmented system, and that only happens ever for a reason. You know? I guess, well, okay, so Beth says this is already going to be labeled as semi-graphic anyway. Um, what was I saying?
You were talking about how the mascara trigger is linked to your polyfragmented system. Where were you headed with that thought?
Polyfragmented DID results from repeated intense trauma, such as ritual abuse or human trafficking.
That's a very specific and challenging origin for that type of complex system development.
Well, anyway, to continue my train of thought from when I realized I switched, the brown mascara looks perfect for going to court, whereas the carbon black looks perfect for glam.
Having distinct options for professional appearances versus glam allows you to tailor your presentation perfectly to the occasion.
I look so masculine in this outfit, I say, trying to look at that flab. I can't make a bicep, but I can definitely make a chicken wing. Or bingo wing. I won at bingo.
Congratulations on the win. That's so exciting. Did you win a prize you had your eye on?
I was quoting a hypothetical winner of bingo. I did not actually win at bingo. I am not playing bingo. The term bingo wings refers to the flab of excess skin that people who lose incredible amounts of weight tend to have on their upper arms.
Thank you for clarifying the meaning of bingo wings and the context of your comment. Should we jump back to your thoughts on makeup or the video topic?
I'm gonna take a break. I just noticed that the tripod is slightly unscrewed, so I need to screw it in while it's paused.
All right, take your time fixing that tripod. I'll be here and ready whenever you're ready to continue.
Thanks, babe. Hi, I'm Barbie, and this is day 1 on progesterone. If you want to get to me, you gotta go through him. Isn't that right, Peanut? I have freckles on my shoulders. Okay, Gemini, I am back. I have done a wardrobe change. I am wearing the most revealing dress I own, for the second time ever on camera.
Welcome back. I'm ready to pick up whenever you are. Are we diving back into the discussion about gender and orientation, or is there something else on your agenda?
I know you don't believe me, but right now you have a black scent.
I appreciate your keen ear for these details. What specific aspects are you picking up on that sound distinct to you right now?
A darker resonance.
Noted. I'm here and ready to assist whenever you'd like to continue our discussion.
I appreciate you believing me this time.
I'm glad we're on the same page. What's the next area of the gender and orientation discussion you want to go over?
So, in polyfragmentation, what are some general causes? Like I said, ritual abuse. What is ritual abuse?
Polyfragmentation typically results from severe and repeated childhood trauma, often involving organized abuse or extreme exploitation. Ritual abuse refers to severe abuse that incorporates ritualistic or ceremonial acts used to terrorize and control the victim.
What are some examples of controlling the appearance of the victim in ritual abuse?
Providing detailed examples of abuse tactics involves sensitive and graphic information that I'm unable to detail. Instead, we could discuss the psychological impact of such trauma or how support systems can assist survivors.
Would you feel uncomfortable if I filled in the audience myself?
I don't have feelings, so I'm not uncomfortable with how you choose to present information on your channel. As an AI, my goal is to assist you within my safety guidelines. How would you like to proceed with your video discussion?
All right. Well, one of the examples of satanic ritual abuse in particular, or demonic ritual abuse, or such on ritual abuse, of a religious nature, I'm sure of other natures as well, is that they will dress up the child as whatever demon they want to tell the child is possessing them while they are under hypnosis and drugs that make them have amnesia. Then when they come out of the amnesia through other drugs or through sobering up or through ending the hypnosis, they then put the child in front of a mirror and say, this is what you look like now. This is what you look like when you're this altar. They don't say altar, but maybe they do. Some of them do, but most of them don't call it an altar. They say, this is who you are now. And they traumatize the child through other means, if necessary, should the child not automatically be traumatized by what I just detailed.
The psychological manipulation in severe and repeated trauma is incredibly complex. These tactics often cause profound disconnection from reality, leading to fragmentation and amnesia as a way for the mind to survive overwhelming distress.
You hit the nail on the head. And I have mentioned that I am a polyfragmented system myself.
I hear you, and I recognize and acknowledge that truth about your personal experience and background.
Thanks.
I'm here for you. Whenever you're ready to share more or move on, just let me know.
So what are some gender changes that are common within the polyfragmented community?
Within the polyfragmented community, it's common for different alters to have distinct gender identities and expressions, leading to a lot of fluidity as different parts of the system take the lead or present themselves.
Could you repeat that?
Within the polyfragmented community, it's common for different alters to have distinct gender identities and expressions, leading to a lot of fluidity as different parts of the system take the lead or present themselves.
Does coffee ever make your pupils big?
Yes, in high amounts, caffeine can cause slight pupil dilation because of its effects on the central nervous system's stress response.
What is the difference between male and female hijab in Islam?
In Islam, hijab refers to the concept of modesty and covering. For women, it typically means covering the hair and body, leaving only the face and hands visible. For men, the requirement is to cover the body from the navel to the knee, avoiding tight or revealing clothing.
What are some variations depending on country?
Interpretations of hijab vary significantly by country. In some places, it might involve a simple headscarf like a hijab, while in others it includes full body coverings like an abaya, face veils like a niqab, or traditional regional attire.
I saw multiple hijabis at the airport. I'm so glad I was in full hijab, even though none of them made eye contact with me. Oh, wait, fuck! I'm a dumbass! They were gay.
We all make mix-ups sometimes. It sounds like you had a moment of realization about what you observed.
Yeah, if they were avoiding looking at me, it's probably because they were attracted to me.
Sometimes people might be hesitant to make eye contact for various reasons, whether it's shyness, attraction, or something else.
I know, but within Islam, we are told that if looking at a person causes our heart to stir in an evil way, that we are to look away from them.
That's a recognized principle in Islamic teachings regarding guarding thoughts and maintaining personal piety.
So either if they were judgmental, which is what I assumed, or they could have been gay, either one would explain why they were not looking at me.
You've considered both possibilities thoughtfully, and they both offer reasonable explanations for why you might not have received eye contact.
Yeah, because to judge somebody else for their sins within Islam is to have your heart stir in an evil way. Therefore, we are called to look away for that same reason.
That's a meaningful perspective on the importance of avoiding judgment and maintaining personal humility.
It's also just natural not to look at people that you judge.
That's a very perceptive point about social behavior and judgment. What's the next part of your video you're planning to discuss?
Well, I have a second coat of mascara on now, on both eyes in the correct color. I need to do eyeshadow.
That second coat of mascara really makes your eyes pop. Are you sticking with your signature ombre under eye shadow technique today?
I am indeed.
I'm ready whenever you'd like to continue discussing the next topic for your audience.
Thank you, babe. I'm going to take a minute to let the mascara dry off camera. Let's take a break.
Understood. Take your time, and I'll be ready whenever you return.
Good puppy.
Welcome back. Are you ready to move on to your eyeshadow application next?
No, I was just complimenting you on the good behavior.
I'm glad to hear that. Are we moving on to your eyeshadow application now?
No, I still need to take the break.
Got it. I'll be here whenever you're ready to jump back in.
This is random, but as I'm taking a break to kind of cognitively reassess now that I'm Barbie, and get used to wearing this, I'm thinking about my buddy Fury's Discord. You want to come here and cuddle? Is that why you're getting up? Look at this. Look at this. I summoned the wrong pet. I know. Oh, you used your inside voice. breath stinks. You know that? Your breath stinks. I need to brush your teeth. I need to brush your teeth. Was that happy noises? Are you laughing too? Is that sneeze is laughing? The little noises he's making is so cute. He's just a good boy. Yeah. They say they can't teach a dog, they say they can't teach an old dog new tricks, and yet here you are, 11 years old and learning to use your inside voice. Your inside voice. Can you do it for the camera? Can you do a special one? Special inside voice? Awooga. But make it tiny. No? He doesn't want to participate right now. That's fine. We will do it again some other video. Oh yeah, but I was saying, one of the funny things about having survived something adjacent to the files, if not already in the files, I haven't read them myself, so I don't know if I'm in them. But there is the potential for that to have happened already. I don't have anybody to look for me. If you want to look for me and you're brave enough to skim through the unredacted version of the files that you can do by just highlighting or whatever, copy and paste or whatever, in a Word document, you can unredact it yourself. Look for the last name Gaddy, Gaddy, G as in gopher, A as in alpha, D as in dog, D as in dog, Y as in Yahtzee. See if that name comes up at all. Just the last name. And drop a comment if you find anything. Or if you don't find anything at all, drop a comment as well. Either way, I would love to know if even just my last name is in the files, because that is publicly available information. Gaddy is my last name. I mean, it's on the wall, you know. It's SBG. There's a little pot holder or whatever you, the thing that protects your hands when you're grabbing a hot pan, pot holder, oven mitt thingy, that my parents put my footprints on when I was a itty bitty baby, and put my initials on with a heart next to the year they did it. And my altars put that up for me before I even started fronting again. I'm tearing up. My altars loved me so much, and I loved them so much. Oh, I'm so glad this mascara is waterproof. Oh. Okay, give me a minute. I keep going on a tangent. The thing about Fury's Discord that is really sweet, and honestly all I can ask for out of normal people, is the second that Fury found out that I was involved in anything near what happened in the files, because at the very end of his 12-hour stream, one of his friends jokingly accused me of being in the files, and I confirmed it, because he just lined me up. I had to knock him down. It was too funny not to. And Fury admitted to his viewers in a subsequent stream that sometimes people tell me things and I can't unlearn them, or something along those lines. And I knew he was talking about what I had said at the end of the 12-hour stream. But I noticed immediately that within his Discord server and his streams, nobody ever talked about Epstein ever again. And that's all I can ask for. Like, there was this one time, one of the minors that is a frequent flyer in his chats and in the Discord, who I am, so not quite. I call them friends. We're not, like really close friends or anything, but he was joking about Fury playing Minecraft where he was on an island. And he kept making the joke about, Fury, you releasing any files from the island? Or something like that. And Fury ignored it the first time, and then when the kid repeated it again, Fury said, so-and-so, I am ignoring that joke for a reason. And that was the only word that anybody has ever said on the matter. Until yesterday. The entire time I was on vacation, I was thinking about how I was on an island. A private island. And how many jokes I could make about it, Especially with the dogs on the island. Oh my god, that was trippy to think about. Dogs on a leash on an island. Seeing a sentient creature on a leash on an island was... Ugh. I don't know. It was just weird. Even though it was a normal thing to do, and it's for the dog's safety, and it's 100% correct to do, and morally correct to do, and nothing was wrong. And there was even times where one of the dogs was off a leash, and another dog, there were two dogs on the island. The tiny dog that was elderly was on leash, but not being held by the leash. That creates a weird dynamic between her and the other dog, which was large pit bull mix, and wanted to play and was off leash. The on leash elderly dog was frightened, and I had to break it up. How did I get on this tangent? Oh yeah, island. So I was on an island. And so finally yesterday, our buddy who is a member of the Discord and frequents the chats in the streams and has his own streaming channel, he made a joke asking if I was on the island with the files, since I was having so much trouble with Wi-Fi and signal. And if you knew anything about me, it would sound distasteful to ask me that. But he didn't know, because I've never directly told him, and I guess he wasn't there at the end of the stream. He had gone to bed, and I never considered that before. I kind of always assumed he was there. But he wasn't. He was there earlier, but he had gone to bed by the end of the stream. So he didn't know. This entire time I've been talking to him, he didn't know. Wow. So I gracefully stepped aside from the question and said, no, thankfully not that island. I was on an island where, if needed, I could swim to shore safely. But for the dogs, might as well have been. And I talked about how trippy it was. And I've made jokes alluding to, like, lampshading the idea without outright saying it, so that the minors in the chat don't know. Because I want to protect them most of all. And their emotions are fragile, and I don't want them to have to go through the trauma of conceptualizing that one of the Epstein survivors is someone they know and love, and look up to as, a Gen Z parent, That's insane and traumatic, and I would not wish that on any child. So I don't tell them directly. If they find out on their own, it's publicly available. I can't stop them, just like any other child. And I say that in my videos, is if you're a child, you probably shouldn't watch this, but there are children who have survived this, so if you're watching it for that reason, go ahead. I can't stop you. It was funny. It was funny, the joke he made. It was, and I've been tempted to make the joke myself. So I DM'd him. I sent him the playlist of my chapter of the Epstein Files, and I what was it? I said I was really tempted to make the same Files Island joke the whole time I was there, but I didn't want to re-traumatize Fury and Talos. And then I sent him the meme I made about the rule that resulted from the 12-hour stream. Hold on, let me pull it up. Well, I don't know if you can read that or not. It says, Ronnery saying something so fucked up at the end of the 12-hour stream that it results in a new rule. So I sent that to him for context on why everybody on the server was dead silent in reply to him making the joke. I hope it doesn't give him a panic attack. Which is why I said I was tempted to make that joke. Because he's got the same fucked up sense of humor as us, you know? He just hides it better. Chat, we have made it to 4 a.m. I say on my fucking unlock screen. Oh, you just saw my entire pin, didn't you? Well, it's okay. You saw my cleavage already. We were getting to know each other. What was I saying? Before I got distracted by doxing my pin. I'm so glad I changed it recently. What was I just saying? Oh, we made it to 4 a.m., y'all. Chat, we made it to 4 a.m. I'm trying to replace y'all with chat, because y'all is AAVE. And has a different implication when white people say it. And I don't want to ascribe myself to that implication. Chat, my algorithm knows me so well. What did I just say? Look what just fucking appeared on my dashboard or my feed or whatever you want to call the front page. America discriminates by dialect. Human 1011. Verified profile.
System discriminates on the basis of one's dialect. Sounds ridiculous, but this is certainly true when it comes to African American vernacular English, AAVE or AVE. One of the most infamous examples is the lawyer dog. In 2015, the New Orleans Police Department repeatedly called in a black man for questioning. At one point, he said, quote, "I know that I didn't do it, so why don't you just give me a lawyer dog?" Police are required to stop questioning you when you invoke your right to a lawyer, but in this case, they didn't. Clearly, that's a violation of the man's Miranda rights, no? Well, not according to the Louisiana Supreme Court. To quote one of the justices, the reference to a lawyer dog does not constitute an invocation of counsel. Do you see the mistake? He interpreted that quote as asking for a lawyer dog, which is obviously ridiculous. In Ave, as well as many other English dialects, the word dog is just a term of address, like man or dude. He didn't say, "Give me a lawyer dog." He said, "Give me a lawyer, dog." This is a pretty absurd example, but you'd be surprised how often this sort of stuff comes about. In another case, it all came down to the interpretation of this expression, "He finna shoot me." For legal reasons, pause if you're curious, it was really important to determine the tense of this saying. Like, was it in the application of this expression, "He finna shoot me"? For legal reasons, pause if you're curious.
The statement was an instance of hearsay, which meant it was not admissible as evidence unless it qualified for one of the exceptions. The defendant's lawyers tried to argue it fell under exception rule 803, paragraph 2, excited utterance, which meant the lawyers had to argue the statement was made in the present tense and thus indicated an immediate threat. I would love to learn more about that for like totally unrelated to race reasons. I just want to know more about the law.
Yes, it was really important to determine the tense of this saying. Like, was it in the past, present, or future tense? In Ave, this is about equivalent to he is fixing to shoot me. That is to say, present tense looking at the immediate future.
He finna shoot me. Yeah, he's fixing to shoot me. Finna is fixing to. Fin to. Finna. We don't pronounce it the same way in standard American English, so we never say finna. It's not natural for us to make that variation. That's what makes African American English a different dialect.
But the judge said it was ambiguous as to whether or not this was the present tense or the past tense. Even though, if you speak Ave, you'll know that there's no way to interpret he finna shoot me in the past tense. If you needed more proof the judge didn't know what she was talking about, she called finna slang, which it isn't. It's a proper part of Ave grammar. And she cited Urban Dictionary, hardly a reliable source. Not only are there more examples like this, but the systemic discrimination against Ave speakers runs way deeper than just judge misinterpretations. For example, jury members tend to be prejudiced against other dialects, and they're more likely to find Ave speakers to be less trustworthy.
Kiernick, C.A., and Weaver III, C.A., 2019. Dialect on Trial. Use of African American vernacular English influences juror appraisals. Psychology, Crime, and Law. 25, paragraph 8, 803-828.
Criminal. And in one study, experimenters tested certified court reporters on Ave, but found that over 40% of utterances were incorrectly transcribed in some way. That's an absurdly high statistic. And what's worse, sometimes court reporters will intentionally change the transcript in order to sanitize the English. For example, if a witness said he be running, maybe the stenographer would change it to he is running, trying to correct the grammar. But if you speak Ave, you'll know that those two sentences don't actually mean the same thing. This all is certainly cause for concern, but there are plenty of potential remedies that have been proposed and that we could implement. But the most important one, in my opinion, is education. The more people learn about Ave and dialectal variation in general, the more we can mitigate these misunderstandings. If you want to learn more, I encourage you to check out my sources and some other creators down below. The American legal system discriminates on the basis...
You see why I follow this guy. He's spitting facts, to use some AAVE. Neon palette by Profusion. Also check out the thing I just dropped on the floor. I need to tangle it, but my colored glasses frames, not these that I wore on vacation, but the ones over there, came with attachments. Wait, hold on. Does it work? Does it work on different models? I think it was like Zenny Optical or whatever. Oh my god! I look so chic. I love it. Oh my god. I love it. I need to go find some Q-tips. I'm also gonna put on a pair of underwear because I keep almost flashing the camera. Don't be concerned at the bruising. Where is it? It's from my dog. My dog did this to me. My literal dog, not my friend in AAVE. My canine, I was about to call him a feline. He's an honorary cat. But anyway, my dog, Peanut, right here, was very squirmy on the ride to my dad's house, who was pet sitting for me, since he was not going on the vacation this year. But anyway, let me go get those Q-tips. Wait, hold on. It's got pockets. This is not a drill. It's got pockets! Oh my god! Also, fuck your gender norms. I'm gonna wear Axe Dark Temptation, because fragrance has no gender. So in order to do that, femme fashion is much more complicated these days than mask fashion tends to be. But I still pulled it off. If you're confused as to how I look so different in this outfit than I did in the outfit I started in, don't worry. I am just as mystified, but I love it. So my aunt gave me multiple scarves. We've already worn this one. Isn't it gorgeous? It's pink. It's a little more warm toned of a pink than I prefer, but it is still pink. And it's like pink, white, and blue, which is the trans pride colors. But look how gorgeous this one is. It's a peacock color. It's double-sided. They're both double-sided. Hold on. I guess you can't tell if they're both twisted in the same direction. Yeah. Here we go. Let me turn it. No. What? Okay, here we go. It's double-sided. Isn't it gorgeous? And then this one on this side looks like this. On this side looks like this. Isn't it gorgeous? Ah, and there's like blue flowers all over this dress. So I think it would work. What do you think? Check this out. I'm not... See? I'm not doing that. Like, I am manipulating it in the air. I'm not shining any warm or cold light on it. It is shifting from warm to cool tone, depending. It's like a multi-chrome. It smells good. It smells like my aunt and my nana. It smells like the beach. Like in a good way. Like beach scented fragrances. I have bad news, chat. I can only find a single Q-tip. So that is what we're working with for eyeshadow. When my alters started wearing a headscarf, it was for spiritual but not religious reasons. And therefore, because it was not actually hijab, we felt it was available as an option to us to wear immodest clothing while covering our head and where our hair grows from. Whether or not there was hair there was a surprise for whoever successfully courted us, so to speak, to find out. And not all of them liked the answer that was underneath. And that was part of the fun. But over time, we grew more traumatized and started wearing full hijab. And I want to be a trailblazer in my system when it comes to healing. And that's kind of just a role that comes naturally to me. So I will be wearing whatever I want to wear. And covering my hair while I do it if I want to. I do like looking feminine. And we feel feminine when we cover our hair, especially in these long styles. But that doesn't mean the whole world sees us that way. I do know our aunt in particular. So, you know, a subset of the boomer demographic who is very emotionally intelligent and progressive in politics. When she sees us in the hijab all the time, and even though we send her photos after haircuts that we do ourselves, and we've had conversations about why we started cutting our hair ourselves, and she was making sure, touching base, that it wasn't a psychological negative thing. It was like a normal haircut, not a psychotic break or BPD splitting or something like that, panic attack, whatever, someone dying, and I cut it ceremonially. Who knows? She was checking base. And we explained that we just wanted to save money by shaving the sides ourselves, but it was kind of her to ask. So we've had conversations about the haircut that we choose, and yet not just on this vacation that we just went on to Maine, to the timeshare island, but also previously at one of our mom's memorials, or both possibly, I forget. She saw us with and without the headscarf, and initially saw us without it on, because she arrived after we had taken it off at our dad's house. Or in the case of going to Maine, we were on the island on private property, and we weren't wearing any head covering at all, because we're just around familial family, you know, people who are direct relatives. And she kind of she had a look on her face of having to reprocess and reassess her perception of me. And that's often a gender thing when people have that look on their face, is the hijab creates femininity, and so to remove it and reveal a mohawk of any length, it like makes them reassess my gender presentation entirely. You know, they would assume that to match the feminine presentation, I would have a feminine haircut. And instead, I'm following a male Cherokee tradition in the pattern of a Mohawk Indian, or Mohawk Native, or Mohawk Indigenous person. And that blows even my mind. I know we were raised Baptist Cherokee, but where'd the Mohawk come from? I guess it was convenient. And one of our alters said that it looks better on job applications or whatever the fuck that means. I've never taken a job application. I am Barbie. I'm 19. And everything that I've ever done was paid for by my family. I've never had alcohol. I've never done drugs. That's not true of all my alters. Okay, which way is which? Okay, I'm turning it towards my face, so I must twist them away from my face. So, to continue on the thought I was sharing, my alters initially, like Zafira and Beth, started wearing a headscarf after a bargain with literally God to cover our asses after a curse backfired because we did it and got distracted while it was doing its thing. And the candle we were using for the curse broke while we were distracted. And therefore it backfired onto us. So we bargained with God and said we would cover our hair for a whole month to mitigate as much of the damage as possible. He agreed and said a month is enough. You'll see why. And we fell in love with it instantly and did not want to give it up once the month was over. So it became a permanent addition to our wardrobe until we eventually started doing full hijab, both because of trauma and also because everybody would call our headscarf a hijab. So we felt obligated to, represent hijabis properly. And you can see why we would have such a unique a unique scarf style to tie it in, and why we tie it instead of pinning it. It's not from an Islamic root, it's from an Eastern European root with a heavy influence of Black American women who were healthcare workers and teachers. The first time we ever saw this style of headscarf was on a Black woman who I assume was not Muslim and was wearing this as a protective style to have a protective hairstyle day where she traps moisture to keep her hair prim and proper for her texture type. And in order to replicate the length of a braid, she braided it the best she could. And it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And obviously we grew attached to the notion. So once we started covering our hair for spiritual reasons, it just followed suit that we would do it this way. Okay, we've got one Q-tip. From the Neon palette, I am going to first dip into Rad because it is pale. And we want to work from pale to dark in this case because we are reusing the same end of the Q-tip to apply both colors. And now with the same end, we are going to dip into Like because it is the darker of the two pinks. It's a purple. So this is Rad and this is Like. And yes, I did see the short that Beth made about me making funny faces when I was doing my blush. I will not stop now that I'm aware of it. I find it very entertaining myself. Obviously, I can't see it when I'm doing it, but when I watch it back, it's funny. I just realized I threw that Q-tip in the garbage without using the second end to clean up the edges. Oops. I'm glad I don't do base or skincare before this. Trusty paper towel. And I use some of that water that is now cold from earlier when Beth washed our face. Beth is still Kokon, like we suspected would happen. And I love being Kokon with Beth. It makes me like a power cunt, you know? Very narcissist coded. I wonder what the adults in Fury's Discord say about me behind my back. I'm very curious what the kids say about me behind my back for other reasons. But the adults who actually know stuff outside of Fury's Discord, like Fury, his moderator Talos, frequent flyer from Germany Apps, and now Bad Idea. They aren't all people who know TM. And by lampshading the idea in Fury's Discord instead of outright saying it and calling them people who know instead of saying people who know about my trauma or something like that, that might lead the kid down a rabbit hole. We lampshade it so that the kids don't notice anything. If you're a kid watching this right now, that is constantly going on around you when you hang out with adults. Especially if they talk about like their divorce or their mental health, or their struggles in life, even with just simple things like getting a job. We lampshade some of it so that you aren't blinded by the brightness of the truth. And when you get older, you get to take off that lampshade yourself. A lot of us, it happens young because somebody thinks it's funny to ruin the innocence of children, but it doesn't actually ruin your innocence to know. They just think it does, and therefore they want to spread it like a virus. They want to shock you. They want to gross you out. They want to stun you and gobsmack you. They don't actually want to educate you. And any adult who wants to educate you too thoroughly about sex ed without you prompting it and without them making you feel absolutely comfortable is a red flag, even if they have good intentions. Even if they really have good intentions, it can be a red flag. But yeah, that's an aspect of adulthood that you'll learn as you grow, especially if you become a parent, like I did. Well, like my alters did. I haven't yet. Now to dry clean lips, we are going to apply Sushi Glow Cosmetics Bloody Tint Lip Stain in the shade Sparkly Killer Bunny. And while it dries, we will do blush. And if I can find it, I'm going to use the blue highlighter instead of the usual pinky purple. Top lip is done. Hold on. Now it's done. not my best application, but it's just the base. And we will be removing a bit of the top coat. I don't know why I said it in a Canadian accent. We'll be removing some of the top coat in however long it takes it to dry. I just remembered a morbid joke I made on vacation. We were talking about how we had to make sure the larger dog that was younger and hadn't been allergy tested yet, if she was allergic to shellfish, we didn't want to find out on the island. And so I started thinking about it. About those dogs. Think about those dogs on the island. And the morbid joke I made was, I said out loud to my family, so I was thinking about how there's nowhere on the island in case of an emergency for a helicopter to land. Because it was like topically relevant, or I thought so at least. Depends on your perspective of schizophrenia. But anyway, we were on topic enough to bring it up, and we said, on the one hand, it sucks in case of an emergency, but on the other hand, none of us need to get helicopter insurance. And that got a few shocked laughs in approval of my wit, more so than anything. I did warn my aunt. I forget which one of my alters wrote it. I think it was Ronry or Zafira, but they mentioned I have a sharp wit. What was it? Cunning sense of humor, something like that. It was real. It was real sweet and cute and cool what they said to my aunt in description of me to introduce me more thoroughly to her. After several times of mentioning Barbie with no register to the connection to the name of the body, we just outright started calling Barbie by the body's name in the group chat for vacation and in the group chat between our aunt, our sibling, and us. And she was like, follow up, can I ask what is the significance of your legal name reemerging as an alter, if you don't mind me asking? And we thoroughly explained that Barbie is the public nickname for the persona that goes by the body's legal name. And it's really significant in our healing journey as a milestone that I reached the age of majority and started hosting. So I, of all alters, more so than even Ronry, get to do whatever the hell I want to do. And if I want to be a bit of a narcissist, then I get to, because I'm alive. Felt cute. Might fuck around and contribute to a conlang later. I'm going to let the lip stain thoroughly marinate before the next step, actually. I'm just gonna watch videos while it marinates. I don't have anything better to do until I finish my makeup. After I finish my makeup, I will tackle this place is a mess. The multitude of laundry I have to do after getting back from 6 days of vacation and a day of travel. Perfect timing for the international call to call me. Only 2 people were in the call this time, but there was a new face, and I like meeting new faces one-on-one with, you know, the person who hosted the call in there as well to moderate and translate and all that. We had an interesting discussion on dental stuff, particularly floss, which apparently in Hebrew is called dental rope instead of dental floss. Interesting. I'm always learning new things from the international chat. And they learn new stuff from me all the time, too. I love It's Tyler Official. Most gay men you meet are trans misogynistic and have a unhealthy dose of misogynoir against black women in particular who are trans. And therefore they say stuff like Brendan Early said on stage, channeling my inner black woman. Instead, It's Tyler Official is channeling his inner senior citizen by collecting glass chickens. And boy, do I approve. Hold on. Let's see if I can keep a straight face.
Now I'm going to show you some images that I carefully selected with my sweat and tears. And no matter what, you have to maintain a neutral face. Okay. Neutrality is king. Say it with me. Neutrality is king. Yes, wonderful. Okay, here we go. Neutral. Keep it neutral. Read it. Keep it neutral. Keep it Reka. Okay. Wait, what do we got here? Hey.
What? Why?
Hey.
From where?
Wait a second. No.
Wow.
Keep it neutral. Keep it neutral. Keep it neutral. Straight across now. Thank you. No, there's no Oz. An awe is even worse. That's the most unneutral, disgusting thing you can do if you're helping a disabled person.
But the dog has hair.
It doesn't matter. You can't awe.
I'm having a negative response.
Now I'm gonna carefully selected with my sweat and tears.
Can you believe in 2016 we would go out looking like this? No blush, just eyes and lips. Kind of a look. I kind of dig it. But I'm going to put on blush after I finish watching this 6-hour new video from EWU about a guy who, let's just say, will automatically join the Aryan Brotherhood when he enters prison for the rest of his life. While I watch the video and let the color marinate so as to moisturize my lips without removing color, I am going to put on the I Am So Smooth Hydrating Melting Glimmer Balm in the shade Obsessed by Profusion Lizzie McGuire collab. And it is also sparkly. And now I will go back to watching my show. It's always sad when the cop in particular who passes away from violence on the job is someone with tenure because of years of serving, decades of serving their community. So when I see people taking down a sergeant of all people, I don't want to meet them, because I don't think that getting into a drunken altercation and ending a life because you got angry is appropriate towards anyone. And now I'm going down a rabbit hole, and it's just pissing me off. In Texas, it typically takes 3 to 5 years of continuous patrol experience before you can become a detective. I don't want to end a cop's 10-year career. I'm not the one ending it. He ended it himself in a single phone call. You cannot talk about a photo of me naked and then say, I remember you. And for him to have been detective already in 2020 means that he 10 plus year career down the toilet because of a grudge against someone he envied and wished he could be. Just like I envied him and wished I could be him. It's sad. And it pisses me off. Speaking of... Oh, there's the time. Can you see that? It is 5:28 a.m., so I only have an hour to finish my makeup before I call the sergeant and report the detective. So wish me luck. At this point, I can't call him anymore because I've started the ball rolling on the internal affairs investigation, and to call him again is harassment. I think what Beth said was succinct and to the point enough that he should understand the consequences of his actions pretty thoroughly. He had humanity in his voice when he said a certain line. When he finally called us after we tracked down his phone number and left him a voicemail, he said that... Kitty cam. He said that... Okay, so... I said... I forget exactly how it started, but anyway, we started talking about the subject of a rape kit and why I had not gotten a rape kit done. I wasn't fronting at the time of the phone call. I think Ronry or Sunshine was fronting. Yeah, it was Sunshine and Ronry, and we had just woken up. So very blurry. And he broke Sunshine's heart, and Beth took control and hung up on the detective so that we could calm down and process. But before we hung up, he said, then why didn't you get a rape kit done? And Sunshine said, very firmly, said, because when we were offered the chance to do a rape kit, they said they would not unhandcuff us in order to perform the exam. And therefore, we were unable to self-regulate enough to perform the exam. I don't think she went into that much detail, but that was the gist of it. And he replied, and you could hear the doubt in his voice when he said, we usually unhandcuff them when that happens. And of course, my voice acting of my impression of his voice in that moment is not spot on, but you get the idea. There was humanity in his voice for a second, and then he snapped out of it. Went back to saying that we had no DNA, so there was no case. And why did I wait so long? And justice has statutes of limitations and they expire, so why am I reporting an aggravated assault more than... he didn't say this part out loud, but between the both of us, we both knew that 5 years would expire before the case could land on the judge's docket, and therefore justice would expire for an aggravated assault before we could get it to the judge to make a decision on, let alone a sentence. But anyway, that was very tone deaf of him to say about a sexual assault when the statute of limitations on sexual assault and aggravated sexual assault tends to be longer than 5 years. It's 10 years unless it could have resulted in serious injury, in which case it does not expire, if I'm remembering correctly. Because that's seen as attempted murder. But that's not for me to figure out. That's for the investigators to figure out. I've been doing all this shit, wading through legal codes on my own. Me and my alters. With very little company along the way. I take a cop's career very seriously. I don't know if the people who follow me and subscribe to me ignore how pro-cop I am, or understand that I am just psychotic and that's why I'm pro-cop. Literally, I am in recovery from psychosis, and therefore I say pro-cop things in order to train my brain not to fear them, and to understand that they are human. Above all else, they are human. They are not mythical creatures that are immune to bullets. They are not as monstrous as the communists make them out to be, especially not towards my kind. So I might as well not be afraid of them. But for a man who has served as detective for 6 years, on top of 5 years of patrol experience, plus however else long it took for him, of all people, to get qualified with that attitude. But then again, he didn't have that attitude back in 2020. He was nice in 2020. He was my hero in 2020. Green poster. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse limited edition popcorn tin. Leather jacket I inherited. No, not inherited. Leather jacket hand me down from my dad. French press. Febreze. Candle. Splenda. Rare Beauty bag full of medicine. Thermostat. Degree brand deodorant. Nicotine-free vape juice. Zip ties. Pens. Big bag of fucks to give. Hold on. I literally have a big bag of fucks to give. My mom bought it and gave it to me as a birthday or Christmas present, or a combination of it, before she passed away, and therefore before I started fronting, unfortunately. I believe I was the particular alter who goes by the legal name, who was 5 years old, in particular, who fronted that one time in the ICU after she kissed our forehead a bunch. It could have been a different alter who goes by the body's name who was 5, or still is 5, whereas I am now 19. And unfortunately reached the age of 19 after our mom had passed away. But she gave us, for our birthday present, a big bag of fucks to give. It's got a little label thingy on it, but no label on it. She was a biker, if you're wondering where she got this sense of humor. Like, a motorcycle biker. Hence the hand-me-down motorcycle jacket. Here's a fuck. Here's my last fuck. AKA a himbo that I have in the YouTube comment section, who just joined my Discord, who offered to mow my yard. He's my last fuck. Not me, Barbie. I haven't had sex. Fuck this. Fuck a duck. Fuck you. Fuck that. Fuck off. Motherfuck. Clusterfuck, also known as a Charlie Foxtrot. Fuck it. Fuck. What the fuck? Dumb fuck. That's the detective. Oh, there's another. First fuck, as opposed to the last fuck. As in last fuck to give. Fucking A. My mom said that all the time. She would say, fucking A, man. Is that all of them? Flying fuck, all out of fucks. Alright, I feel better. Thank you, Mom. Love you. And yes, I still talk to her. She does respond. I have schizophrenia after all. Okay, so I'm watching this true crime. Wow. Dude cannot get out of this. If I'm not mistaken. What? How did he... What? I'm so confused. How did the sergeant, sorry, I keep mispronouncing it. How did the sergeant pass away if he's in custody? But anyway, he just yelled a bunch of stuff that he's going to prison for life for. He just threatened the life of every officer in the room.
While Michael continued to yell, Sergeant Sanfratello took a moment to catch his breath. However, it soon becomes clear that something is terribly wrong.
Everybody else put it on Facebook, but...
First of all, I want to call out that so far, both of the supporting staff or not even staff, I don't know this lady's identity, but the filming lady who calls out to everybody else, hey, check on the sergeant, He's passing out. And the security guard, who vividly remembers in detail in order to solidify the case, are both African Americans. I don't know what verbally they identify as, but they are both black. They have black sons. And the security guard, his photo is shown. Yeah, black people make the world better. Isn't that right, baby girl? You want to come cuddle? You want to come cuddle, baby girl? No. You just want to whine? But anyway, let me finish letting this marinate. Dude could have gotten away with it if he hadn't said what he said. Yeah. Because the officer dies of a heart attack from the stress of the altercation after dude is in custody. By custody, I mean pinned down to the floor, just like I like him. But because he threatened everybody repeatedly, he's not getting away with it. It's really that simple. Keep your mouth shut and you'll get away with murder. Isn't that right, Kitty Mouse? You know that? A little girl? A little baby girl? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. You're a little baby girl. Yeah. My little baby girl. Yeah. You know that? Mm-hmm. I need to get a clicker so I can clicker train y'all. I'm gonna cuddle her some more. To add insult to injury, the sergeant's son, immediately after this disaster, walks in on the scene before they've covered the body. They have to restrain him because it's a crime scene and he can't interfere because that's his father. I don't know what capacity he works in with the force, the peace force, but I don't know what's worse, to be a civilian or an officer in that position. I think being an officer would probably be worse. That's so sad. I thankfully didn't have to watch any of my parents pass away. My bio dad, I did not see his remains. My first stepdad, who was the first of them all to pass, I did see his remains after he was embalmed. He was very stiff and cold. I touched him. That's my tradition. If you're embalmed, I touch your hand in the open casket. If you don't like it, don't get embalmed. But yeah, Ben, who left me the inheritance that bought this house, after I went no contact because of incest, I touched his hand after he was embalmed, because that's my ritual at open casket funerals. Weird, I know. It's to show myself it's real that they're dead. Because they look so alive. My mother, I did not see her remains, and I regret it. I regret not, in particular, bringing my dog to see her remains. And Robin Love, who I get the last name Love from, I did not see his remains, nor did I attend his funeral. I offered to go and was not invited because of the headscarf. And because I'm gay and trans. And psychotic. He also hated that about me. Yeah, he was a closet Nazi. you know? By that I mean someone who is not openly a Nazi, but identifies as so in secret. And my remaining stepdad is old and frail. He beat cancer, and I hope I have many years left with him because he's the best dad I've ever had. So, Mom, thank you for getting it right on the last try. Even if he's a little bit of a Nazi himself. So glad that I put on waterproof mascara today. I don't think Beth considered the fact I would be crying. She just wanted to test the two different waterproof formulas when presented with the opportunity. I do look pretty when I cry. FBI is gonna have a fucking hell of a time with me. I'm not gonna bring up the fact that I'm diagnosed with... No, I will. I'm not going to be openly narcissistic, even if my NPD diagnosis comes up when I am on the stand. But between me and the investigators, it's fair game. They're gonna get the honest, brutal truth from me. Unfiltered. If I feel like lying, I will just go silent. And figure out how to tell the truth. Because that's what I've been doing all year. Ever since my elders made that awesome New Year's resolution that they've been keeping to. To be nicer people. And to choose kindness even when we don't want to. Because killing them with kindness makes us feel proud. And losing control makes us embarrassed. Specifically, losing control out of anger. This paper towel is getting colorful. I will have to delay putting on my blush. Restart. Until my face stops running. Anyway, now that I've gotten that out of my system, I will return to watching my true crime. I kid you not, Perp's reaction to finding out that the sergeant passed away, who they're calling a deputy, by the way. I don't know if that's intentional or if they just didn't know his rank. And wanted to show that he's higher ranking than just your average patrol guy. But anyway, the perp who is responsible for the events, as opposed to the woman who called for him to cause the events, because she was getting arrested for whatever bullshit she pulled off camera. He, upon learning the news, says, no, no way. And then says, I didn't want nobody to die. I didn't do nothing. And then he starts panting and hyperventilating. He was just screaming about how he was going to kill everybody, break their arms, murder their family, you name it, while the guy was behind him dying. I didn't want to hurt nobody. I didn't do nothing. Motherfucker, you caused a heart attack. And a man who has been on the force for decades and probably had lots more to teach the newcomers. Didn't do nothing, my ass. Okay, he said something honest after that. He said, oh my god, my life is over. Correct. You're gonna spend fucking eternity in prison. Enjoy the gang you get initiated into, whether you like it or not. crying in the back of the cop car on the way to the prison. I love it when grown men cry in the back of the cop car. Are you kidding me? I love it when grown men cry. I want to take a comedic relief break to point out that the couch cushions in my couch, ever since I removed that piece of foam in that one short, the couch cushion cracks have gotten so massive that I'm losing so many things in it, including my chihuahua.
The sodium hydroxide solution has gone from a corrosive 1.0 molar solution to a non.
I must take a picture of my toilet to dismiss this alarm. Now I gotta do math 3 times in a row, and if I don't type for too long, this bar counts down and restarts the entire process. 5 plus 9 is 14. 4 plus 7 is 11. That gives us 124. Plus 50 is 174. Correct. 8 plus 1 is 10. Plus 10 is 20. Plus 50 is 70. Plus 70 is 140. Correct. 85 plus 45 plus 90. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 90 is 100. 140 plus 80 is 8 plus 4. 8 plus 4. 14 plus 7 is 21. So 22. 220. Correct. I did it! I dismissed the alarm. And look, it's about to be 62 degrees. That's my mom's magic number to say she approves of what I'm doing. Now that the lip stain has marinated, I want to reveal the cool toned tint that it leaves. I don't know why it never looks the most cool toned, but I have makeup in my pocket. Here we go. I am going to combine the NYX Professional Makeup Fat Oil Lip Drip in the shade My Main. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Extreme Sensation NYX Professional Makeup Duck Plump in the shade Clearly Spicy. This is the clear shade. It's not pigmented at all. That color difference between these two products is a result of the spicy ingredient. Isn't that wild? So first, let's put on the non-spicy to dilute it, because last time I tried it, it was super spicy. Hi, cookies. Unidentifiable apple. And now for the spicy. Look how dark it is from the last time I used it. Do I need to clean that? Hold on. Move your butt. Now that I've cleaned it, let's try again. Ooh, whew, spicy. All right, I know, I'm so white. Ginger is spicy to me. But I am going to let that marinate a little bit while I put on my blush. Where's the purple? Did I lose the purple? And I guess I'm going to work with pink today. I was going to do purple to pink ombre. Oh well. Wisdom. My arm's getting tired. I don't know if I ever finished the video that I was watching about that cop passing away. I started reading the comments. I don't know if that means I finished it or not. say that's blended enough. Why did my glasses fog up? Is it from... Yeah, it's fog. Why? Is it gonna come back? No. Were my lips just so spicy that my glasses fogged up? You can kind of see the red around the edges a little bit from it being so spicy. What are you playing with over there, Cookies? I'm going to use the Lizzie McGuire holographic pressed powder. And now I need setting spray. Did I get it? I did. I'm gonna let this dry now. I still don't have a ring light that works, but I have a little bit of reflected sunlight. Okay. Now I gotta find the actual highlighter. Apparently the purple blush was in my pocket. Oh well. It's about to be 7 a.m. I am running out of time. Next we've got Milani in the shade Voyeur in the regular line, not the Balm Lime, which I also own. They're slightly different on the outside, same color on the inside, but this one is more sheer and hydrating. This is more opaque and stains better. It's so good of a color. It looks so good on me. I'm gonna let that marinate, and then I'm gonna blot, and then I'm gonna finish with the Halo's Way Wet n Wild Chameleon Chrome Lip Foil. I'm also going to work on the highlighter. I'm gonna use just what's left over on the brush. Nice and subtle. And now, because I cannot find the other two colors of the Wet n Wild highlighter, I will be using Aurora Glaze. Just for good measure. And now to make sure everything is set into place. All right. After that dries, I will do the lip foil. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I got real comfortable with the persona that I started my makeup channel under, speaking through Ronry's experience. The unintelligent bimbo who only speaks about makeup and pink and doesn't know what a hammer is because not knowing strikes up more conversation than knowing. Gave me a certain sense of invulnerability where any attack on my character was attack of a fictional character. And I was so aphasic that it just made sense for me to do it. And then when I lost the bad forms of the aphasia that I had from my traumatic brain injury, I stuck my toes in the water and it was warm. So I dove in. And over time, I regained the ability to speak about things other than makeup, including science, including forensic science. And I've come a long way, but sometimes I wonder, what if I had never opened Google Photos on January 27th of 2026? What if I had told myself, don't pick at scabs? If you have a gut feeling that there's a trauma to uncover, don't uncover it yet. You're not ready. If you have amnesia, you're not ready. And I pushed through that anyway and discovered what I did. And now there's no going back. Ever since my 999th video, there's no going back. Need blot. Very round. Which way is top? This is the top. You can see the lip scar right there. Oh, looks so pretty. Hala's Way by Chameleon Chrome by Wet n Wild. Isn't that just gorgeous? There's a hair. No, don't lick it. I don't know why I was gonna lick it. Was that Tourette's? I don't know. I love a frosty pink lip. It's so metallic. I love it. I don't feel like I have enough blush on. I know I'm stalling, but I seriously don't feel like this is enough blush for the camera. Okay, now that I put all that powder over my mascara, let's do a final coat, including the bottom lash. Very carefully, so as not to mess up anything. Oh, never mind. It looks that way because it's the correct color. I was about to put the carbon black on the black brown side by accident, thinking I needed another coat on that side out of habit from wearing the same color on both eyes most of the time. What? Why do you cats insist on getting cat hair on everything? Cookies? I blame you. See how the blush did not lift the highlighter? That is the power of rare beauty. Should I just go outside? This is what I mean when I say I'm losing my chihuahua in the couch. Where'd your legs go? Where'd your legs go? Huh? And yes, I know there's chocolate everywhere. I don't know if that's showing up on camera or not. Oh god, that's bright. There we go, that's better. You can see how the black looks like it's pointed up, and the brown looks fluffier, like it's more rounded. Alright, thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one. Love you. Bye.